I'm a woman of no distinction, of little importance. I'm a woman of no reputation, save that which is bad. You whisper as I pass by and cast your judgmental glances, but you don't take the time to look at me or get to know me. For to be known is to be loved, and to be loved is to be known. And otherwise, what is the point of doing either one of them in the first place? I want to be known. I want someone to look me in my face and see more than just two eyes, a nose, a mouth, and two ears. But to see all of me and all that I could be, all of my hopes, loves, fears. But that's too much to hope for, to wish for, to pray for. So I don't. Not anymore. Now I keep it to myself. And by that, I mean the pain. The pain that keeps me in my own private jail. The pain that has brought me here at midday to this well.
My name is Treysean. I'm 22. I currently live in Princeton. Thank you, because of ChoiceOne. I had a really rough time transitioning into motherhood. So in the beginning of my pregnancy, I wasn't really as excited as, most moms would be, because I wasn't, really expecting to get pregnant. But, obviously, when you're doing stuff to get pregnant, you get pregnant. But, everything happens for a reason. And I indefinitely believe that my daughter was supposed to be here at the time that she was supposed to be here, because of the things that were to come. And what I mean by that is, I gave birth to my daughter December 3rd of 2020. And by 8 days into her actually being alive into the universe, I had been evicted from my home that I had been living in for the last 3 years. My daughter's 8 days old. And I get this big eviction letter on my front door saying that I have to be out of my apartment by December 31st. Not even an entire month to plan, figure out, reach out to family. I don't have any money. I'm broke. This pandemic has killed me, and I'm on maternity leave. What am I going to do now? I'm sitting in my room on the edge of my bed while my daughter's asleep in her crib, holding this paper, clutching it on my chest, just crying out to God, like, what am I going to do? I have this baby. I was not expecting to have a baby. I'm 22 years old. I'm a single mom. I'm broke. This is not my life right now, but it is. I don't know who to call. I don't know what resources. ChoiceOne. They give me all the resources that I need, so maybe they might know what to do. No one could help me. No one was able to, provide any financial funds. And with the pandemic going on, no one is working in the office. Everyone is working from remote. No one's answering the phone. No one's responding to emails. No one's getting back to my messages. For the next basically 2 months, I slept in my car. I slept in my car with my baby in the middle of the winter. It was to the point where I had to sneak into gyms that I had, memberships with to take showers. It was to a point where I almost had to steal water from my job to get for my daughter so she could drink. I'm sorry. So my baby could drink. I'm risking going to jail to take care of my daughter. And because of ChoiceOne, their undying dedication to make sure that my daughter and I was able to have a place to sleep, I just want to say thank you so much, because if it were not for you guys, my daughter could have been taken. She could have been put into the system. I would be a childless mother right now. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for not stopping. Thank you for continuing to always reach out. Thank you for just going the extra mile.
Treysean is just one of the thousands of women that come through the doors of ChoiceOne. Yes, I said thousands. Her life story is hard, messy, and though unique, fear and abandonment echo in the hearts of so many women facing an unplanned pregnancy or single motherhood. In 2020, the issues of abortion became amplified within the political discord at the same time the COVID-19 pandemic, appropriately nicknamed the she-demic, turned the struggle of single mothers from hard to unbearable. They knew how to navigate having less, but in COVID, how do you navigate with nothing? When I heard Treysean's story, it made me wonder, what twist in her life left her homeless with an 8-day-old infant? And then who, what, more importantly, how did she find her footing and get a fresh start? My name is Steve Weir, and for years I've known about ChoiceOne Pregnancy Center. My church supports them, and I support them. But the truth is, all I really knew about them was that they gave away diapers and formula to moms who needed them. That was it. In my mind, they meet a need for what was certainly to be a very small population. I was glad Treysean and others like her didn't choose to get an abortion. But then I started to think, not having an abortion was the beginning of a whole new life for a young mother filled with new worries, new pain, and new fears. It stirred this thought in my brain. Was I unintentionally only pro-life inside the womb because I didn't really consider what she must overcome to make the choice, and then what comes next for her? After hearing Treysean's story and others like it, I really started to wonder, was I someone who unintentionally saw choosing life and giving birth as the goal and the finish line for women facing an unplanned pregnancy? I didn't see her. I didn't see her. And I wanted to. I wanted to learn more. I want to share with you my journey to learn more about ChoiceOne. You'll meet and hear stories of the most courageous women who are battling unbelievable hardship. With the odds so stacked high against them, it is a wonder they continue to move forward at all. I found myself continually connecting ChoiceOne to the encounter Jesus had with the woman at the well. The significance of the well is the perfect backdrop for everything I saw, heard, and experienced. The well is the place that Jesus offered empathy, compassion, truth, mercy, hope, and eternal life. It is what I found at ChoiceOne. So come with me now as we explore together the life behind the choice. First, let's start with the basics. Who is ChoiceOne and what do they do? ChoiceOne is an organization that has been helping struggling mothers, single moms, and women vulnerable to or facing unplanned pregnancy. They have been serving women in Bucks County and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Mercer and Burlington counties in New Jersey for almost 40 years. Yes, you heard me right. Since 1982, ChoiceOne has been in our community. And as far as I knew, they only gave out diapers and formula. But they do way more than that. They provide mentorship and material assistance, parenting training and classes, medical services including pregnancy testing, sexually transmitted infection testing and treatment, prenatal ultrasound services, postpartum depression and suicide assessment, expanded mental health counseling, father's mentorship, Spanish services, and an educational prevention program called Let's Talk. Now here's what I didn't know. For close to 40 years, the team at ChoiceOne have turned crisis pregnancy intervention on its head and have set the standard of excellence and been the trendsetters and innovative leaders in pregnancy care and women's services. Here's just a few of their notable highlights. ChoiceOne was the first in the nation to understand the importance the father plays in a woman's circumstance and how that affects her life choices. They understand that he matters and offered the very first Father's Mentorship Program. ChoiceOne recognized their strategic opportunity to identify early postpartum depression and began to train their volunteers in postpartum depression screening and suicide assessment. Foreseeing the enormous rise and effect that sexually transmitted diseases would have on women and their unborn children, ChoiceOne was the first to offer STI screening and treatment that included a counseling protocol in hopes to avoid the mental health and self-esteem consequences of STIs. And in 2020, ChoiceOne became the leader in offering expanded counseling services and now offering virtual counseling services to their roster of achievements. I didn't know any of that. Did you? When I heard this, I became really curious and wanted to find out what else I didn't know. To begin, you should know that ChoiceOne is run by a board of directors, and I asked each one why they served and what is special about ChoiceOne. Greg Downs is the chairman of the board and is the pastor of Calvary Chapel, Mercer, in Ewing, New Jersey. I asked Greg, what is ChoiceOne all about? What do they truly provide?
I think ChoiceOne provides us that one of those perfect opportunities to take the gospel message of Jesus Christ, that every life, no matter what path it is on or what direction it has gone down or what mistakes perhaps have been made, that every life can come into contact with Jesus Christ and be changed by Jesus Christ. And I think that's exactly what ChoiceOne is doing. And so we're blessed to help support them that they might be able to do that more effectively.
Then there's Tyler Stanhope. He's a pastor at Langhorne Presbyterian Church and a licensed professional counselor. Here's what he had to say about ChoiceOne.
Absolutely. This is where faith and theology intersect. These doors at ChoiceOne bring in real life problems that don't always have a black or white answer or just a clear solution to them.
Which that all sounds great, right? But what does that mean? I needed to hear more. I wanted to get to know the staff pretty quickly. So I asked the staff to record themselves introducing themselves and to give us an inside glimpse of what really happens in the office.
Hi, I'm Alice Yen, and I'm the Client Services Director at ChoiceOne, and I've been here for about 6 years now, and I thought that I would show you guys around. I'm in the Levittown office, so let's come take a tour with me and let's see who's in the office.
Here I come. Ready or not? Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, Alice, how are you?
Surprise. Can you tell everyone who you are and what you're doing?
Sure, my name is Jennifer, and I'm the Community Engagement Director, and I've been with ChoiceOne for about 11 years, going on 12, busy doing some emails.
Let's go see if Maria's in her office and what she's doing. Knock, knock. Hey, Maria.
Oh, hello, Alice. How are you?
Good. What are you doing?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
There. How are you?
Good.
It's so nice to see you.
What are you doing? You want to tell everyone what you're up to and who you are?
My name is Maria Edmonds, for those of you who doesn't know me, and I am the Associate Director of Operational Development.
Hey, so now let's go see what our Executive Director, Carolyn Gilmore, is doing. She's in the conference room. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, Alice.
Hey, I'm actually video recording. So just wondering, what are you doing on our screen in our conference room? Can you tell everybody?
Well, it's COVID, and so some of us are still working from home. And because the center is coming back on site, this is the best way for me to stay connected.
Sure. So we're actually filming a video documentary about ChoiceOne and giving everyone an inside glimpse to what we do. And I've asked everyone on our team to share a little bit about themselves and how long they've been at the ministry. So would you mind sharing about you and how long you've been here?
Not at all. I'm Carolyn Gilmore, and I'm the Executive Director of ChoiceOne, and I've been here for 30 years. And I guess the best way to explain what I do is that I've been blessed to lead a team of terrific women helping other women, single moms, women facing unplanned pregnancies, just a ministry of women helping women.
Hey, so I'm actually here in our New Jersey office, and I thought I'd give you a little tour of what our Lawrenceville, New Jersey office is like. So come on in. here we are in our New Jersey office. I'm going to give you a little tour of what it looks like inside. And let's see if there's anyone in the office. Oh,
Hey Al, how
hey,
are
Ann.
you?
Hey, what are you doing? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Maria Nair, the office manager, and I've been at ChoiceOne for over 20 years.
I asked them to answer one simple question. What is it like working with an all-girl team? And here is what they sent me.
So what is it like working with a group of girls?
Well, I don't know about other places, but here at ChoiceOne, God put together a bunch of very different women, and it works.
So there's definitely a lot of talking during our staff meetings, and we go on a lot of different rabbit trails. But honestly, it's just like being with a great group of my girlfriends.
It's the best. There's no need for mansplaining. We all just get it. We get each other.
Well, it's like working with your sisters, except we don't trade clothes.
Estrogen, estrogen, estrogen.
I got an inside look and the opportunity to watch them interact on Zoom. And it was evident that these women not only love each other, but they really like each other. They seemed to have this natural sisterhood, and it was a blast to watch them interact. These women are serious about sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, and they have a heart for helping women in desperate situations. They are so committed to sharing the good news of Jesus that they are willing to wait. The leadership team at ChoiceOne waits day in and day out at the well, or rather, the offices of ChoiceOne. Carolyn Gilmore, the executive director of ChoiceOne, has been with the organization for 30 of its 40 years. Truth be told, I interviewed her last. I didn't want any preconceived ideas floating around in my head about ChoiceOne. I wanted to meet her staff and hear their experiences without the benefit of leadership context or, the boss listening in. However, I thought you should hear these two snippets from my conversation with Carolyn right up front.
And I love telling people what ChoiceOne's about. So if I said to you that ChoiceOne is a ministry designed to share the love of Christ, designed to share the gospel of the good news of his coming and eternal life, and that's all I said, I'd be really comfortable with that definition. ChoiceOne only chose crisis pregnancy intervention, helping women, as our mission field, as the vehicle to do that. So I'm delighted to be a part of a ministry that's sole goal is to love unconditionally. Remember, she's a divine appointment. Every appointment is divine appointment. When we set that up in our hearts and minds, it changes, it makes the world fade back and heaven come forward.
Now here's a little bit just to keep you engaged, so make sure you stay till the end. First, my most compelling interview I left for the end. It is the story of Jamie, who is a sweet, shy, 14-year-old girl who became pregnant in just the 9th grade. At the end of my time with ChoiceOne, I asked Carolyn this question. In a world that seems to be changing politically, socially, and even in its definition of right and wrong culturally, how will ChoiceOne remain relevant? Her answer will stick with me for quite some time. Now, I learned these women were determined, but I wondered, how did they continue to serve through a pandemic? I asked Alice and Carolyn why it was so important to stay open during COVID, and how did they do it?
Well, it was easy to stay open because the state had already determined us to be
Essential workers.
which is true. We truly are essential. Our clients, our pregnant moms, our single moms, our families, they have such limited resources. And during a pandemic, we knew that stress was going to add a burden to our clients that we needed to help them lift.
Yeah, many of them can't save it for a day, let alone 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we had to mobilize our community, and boy, did our donors come out. It was such a blessing. They filled our cupboards with diapers and formula.
Right. And then on our end, we worked fast to make sure that we can provide non-contact services like curbside pickup. And in fact, Carolyn and I were already working on a virtual counseling program for ChoiceOne.
Yeah, and that's an amazing story because just as we were ready to launch, the pandemic happened. So God put us in a place where we could still connect with our clients. When all the doors around us were shutting, we had a virtual platform which kept us open.
Right. And our counselors knew that a lot of the families, they were home, their kids were all home for virtual, so they had to make themselves more available day or night.
Yeah, and what we didn't know then, but we know now, how COVID affected everyone's mental health. There was more stress, more anxiety, hopelessness. Now, every program we have at ChoiceOne has a direct line to the gospel. And during a pandemic, the gospel was needed more than anything else.
In addition to the awesome staff, they have an amazing team of volunteers and interns who truly are the muscle behind the organization. Early on in my ChoiceOne journey, I was surprised to learn that ChoiceOne offers baby showers for moms who wouldn't otherwise have a shower. The harsh reality is that for the women and for these young moms, this baby shower might be the only one they have, and the women at ChoiceOne might be the only ones who celebrate the birth of their baby. I had the chance to attend a shower, and though Kristen was nervous with the camera in the room, I experienced the true impact a baby shower can have on a young mom with little to no support at home. Here I caught a glimpse of the volunteers getting things ready for the shower, with some last-minute wrapping and some gift preparation, and behind them, there's all those diapers. Later, I asked what this shower meant to her, and young Kristen said this.
This is extremely helpful. Because I lost my job, all of these gifts are a blessing.
This is extremely helpful. I lost my job. These gifts are a blessing. The joy in the room was real. There were gifts and fun, but there was something real and meaningful too. I could truly feel the impact ChoiceOne was making in Kristen's life. And then they gathered to pray around Kristen. It was natural, and Kristen joined right in, and it was familiar. It occurred to me that perhaps prayer is the greatest of their ministries. They seem to pray for each and every mom and baby that steps through their doors. I was shooting right at Thanksgiving and Christmas time, and wow, does the team at ChoiceOne share the love during the holidays? They sure do. Now that's always been a huge deal for ChoiceOne, but remember I said these women were innovators. So listen to this.
Well, this year, my team came to me, Jennifer Musser, she's our Community Development Director, and Alice Yen, our Client Services Director. They came to me and they said, you know what, we're gonna turn on our head the Thanksgiving program and the Christmas program. See, Carolyn, they said to me, you don't understand that women don't always, different cultures have different Thanksgiving tables, and maybe they don't even have a Thanksgiving table. So we don't want to just give them all turkeys, stovetop stuffing, and mashed potatoes. They took a survey of our clients and made sure that their Thanksgiving box looked like their family table. Extraordinary, how respectful of what that woman was going to put on her table. Then at Christmas, they say to me, you know what, we're going to turn that a little upside down too. We know that we always ask women for the top items their children want, and we try to make sure that we get those. But there's one thing about handing your child a toy that someone gave you to give to them, rather than picking out a toy for your child in a store. So even in COVID, they set up one of our rooms as like a little mini store, and a girl had a private appointment, and she would come in and she could pick the dolly or the puzzle or the truck that she thought her child would like. Steve, I know that sounds small, but what a thing for a mother who has almost no resources to be able to choose something to give to their child. They turn it on its head.
During a time when food insecurity was at its height, this team packed up boxes of food. Each were carefully and thoughtfully planned out and assembled with each mom's Thanksgiving meal traditions and culture in mind. That was something I had never seen before. The Thanksgiving meal was a crazy experience for me. And remember Treysean? She stopped by to get her box. While handing out Thanksgiving meals sounds great, and it was, the Christmas holidays often bring a much greater burden to these young mothers. Christmas is devastatingly hard for people with little essentials who have no capacity for extra. Every parent wants their kids to enjoy Christmas, and when they can't provide something, anything, the sadness and humiliation can be overbearing. Understanding the psychology behind gift giving during Christmas, this team again turned a Christmas toy program into an opportunity to restore her dignity. The ChoiceOne staff see her. They get her. And I watch these moms deliberate and select which age-appropriate gifts their kid or kids would enjoy most. The staff were sure to have gifts available that were right in line with the ages of each mother's kids, and even selected a special wish list item for each family. I watched and I heard.
And coming here today, I know that I'm going to make their Christmas.
Earlier, you heard me mention that the COVID-19 pandemic has been known as the she-demic, when so many women have lost their jobs while the schools are closed. Women now had to figure out how to make a living, raise and educate their children, be mom, teacher, and babysitter all at once.
Our moms lost 2 jobs. They didn't lose just one, they lost 2. Their kids are now home.
You may not know this because I didn't. But COVID-19 has hit women of color disproportionately hard. ChoiceOne serves a multicultural population with a large number of Latina women in varying stages of immigration status. That's why ChoiceOne is so purposeful to have staff and volunteers who are Spanish speakers. They don't ever want a woman to feel trapped, abandoned, or without hope, all because of a language barrier. Meet Telma. In my conversation with Telma, I learned firsthand the impact that COVID-19 has truly had.
Ha sido bastante duro porque nos ha venido a cambiar muchísimo. Les ha afectado tanto como a mis hijas, como a mi esposo, como a mi familia en Guatemala. Y más difícil es saber también que estamos tan...
This Spanish-speaking woman came in with her children for clothing, formula, and diapers. Maria comments how cute her little girl's shoes are, and quickly they go from shoes to immigration issues. This woman owes money to the man who brought her into the States. She doesn't have the money, and she is frightened. She is trying to find a job, but she can't find one that pays her enough to cover her childcare needs. ChoiceOne's staff and volunteers who are bilingual create trusting friendships. Maria, as the staff's Spanish community liaison, and Paz, who is a professional counselor who volunteers at ChoiceOne, they understand and love the Latina community. I asked Paz to share with me why the center in New Jersey sees so many Spanish-speaking clients.
The ministry in Lawrenceville is really unique because it's really close to Hamilton, Trenton, and that area is the large population of Latinos in there. And we're talking about people who are coming from the countryside of these countries. So education is really low. They live in poverty, most of them. It's a lot of single moms who have 2 jobs sometimes. It's a lot of need.
Maria shared something similar with me, and it really got me thinking about the disproportional effect that COVID has had on these women and families. When jobs are lost, schools are closed, and these moms have to teach their children from home in English, a language that they themselves are still learning. Here's part of my conversation with Maria.
During the COVID months, you would think, oh, nobody even came to the office. But let me tell you, our numbers have really tripled because of COVID. Right now, she has to teach her children about an education a language that she doesn't even have. So there's a lot of issues that the Spanish community are going through.
I asked Paz, why do the women come to ChoiceOne?
They come most of the time to find diapers and wipes and whatever we can give them clothes. But when they enter into the door of ChoiceOne, what they encounter is the love of Christ, because the ministry is Christ-centered.
Not only did the she-demic usher in financial devastation, it also brought increased violence to women. This is Carla. Carla is from Chile, and she doesn't speak English. She came to ChoiceOne when she found out she was pregnant, while living inside a shelter for battered women. Carla suffered for years with verbal and physical abuse at the hand of her American husband. Her language barrier rendered her mute before the authorities. Carla received a merciless beating, which left her no choice but to run. At ChoiceOne, Carla has found a community of Spanish-speaking friends and counselors to help her through her trauma and the options she had facing her pregnancy. She gave birth to a beautiful little boy in the middle of the pandemic. Carla's situation is ongoing, riddled with custody and immigration issues and continued spousal threats. Her resolve grows stronger every day. ChoiceOne offers Carla a place where her physical, mental, and spiritual voice is heard with understanding, respect, and unconditional love. Violence against women has plagued our society before, and it will after COVID. But I didn't realize how many women who have suffered violence end up at ChoiceOne. This is Taylor. She's a smart and incredible young woman, but her story is truly heartbreaking.
My mom was an addict growing up. She used prescription drugs. She also suffers from anxiety and depression, and also is bipolar. I also grew up with a drug addict brother who was along the whole loop of drugs, along with doing them with my mom. I became a mom right outside of high school. So when I had my daughter, me and my dad connected, right? Like we were best friends. June of 2014, my dad died of a brain aneurysm. My daughter was 18 months. I then started to experience the depression. My grandparents basically raised me and gave me a life that I would have never gotten with my mom or my parents because my parents were split. June, I got pregnant with my son, and I had him of April 2016. Fast forward to October of 2017, my grandmom died of cancer, and that's when my life took a turn. For the worst. She was my best friend. She was my entire heart. As you can see, I didn't have a good support system growing up, and she literally got me from A to B. August of 2019, I was in a domestic assault with my kid's father, who I was with for 8.5 years. I spent 3 days in the hospital, suffered injuries, one causing me to get surgery on my nose, also being partially deaf in my right ear. I had a fractured skull, dislocated jaw. And at that point, I felt like my life was over. And the only thing that was keeping me going was my kids.
I was speechless. As she shared her story, my heart broke as I heard her share one tragedy after another. My heart ached for what she had gone through. With each loss after loss after loss, no one should ever have to go through what Taylor has gone through. The injuries she suffered were immense, and she was close to death, lying on the floor in front of her children. ChoiceOne was the saving grace for Taylor. What does ChoiceOne mean to Taylor? Well, I'll let you hear from Taylor herself from our conversation.
I would first say, do not be afraid to seek help. I was in denial for years and years and years. And it came to the point where I was literally almost in my grave, that I needed help. And I mean, I was at such a low point in my life, and the team of people at ChoiceOne offered, they're like an open door. You can call anyone at any time. Anytime you need somebody, they're there. Door is wide open, and they're very accepting. They will accept anybody, and there's always somebody there that can help you.
What I learned from being behind my camera at ChoiceOne is that women who have experienced degradation, abuse, and/or neglect are more susceptible to relationship violence. Pain like that damages one's soul so deeply it inhibits one from seeing their worth, and it perverts true love. Taylor survived, but many others do not, even at ChoiceOne. After 40 years of service, ChoiceOne has become a beacon of hope in the communities they serve, and they have developed supporting programs that reflect their commitment to girls and women in need. The astute nature of this team brought them to their newest next challenge. As more girls and women presented with various degrees of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and even suicide, ChoiceOne felt their next call. They were challenged by the idea that women not only needed mentorship and resources, but they needed access to good, life-improving mental health care, including a professional version of the mentorship programs. So, ChoiceOne's CO2 was born. CO2 is a play on carbon dioxide. Their slogan? Let us help you exhale. CO2 is a companion professional counseling program that expands services beyond the mentorship relationships at ChoiceOne. Professional counselors like Jody, Sarah Beth, Lisa, and so many more have partnered with ChoiceOne to offer specialized counseling for women by women. As a pastor, I find this to be a tremendous asset to our church. Affordable, biblical-based counseling for women by women? It is exactly what so many women need, both in my church and in yours. I asked Alice, Jody, Sarah Beth, and Michelle to give me just one aspect of CO2 that would help me to better understand CO2 and what it's all about.
CO2 is for all women, church or unchurched, that are looking for a unique counseling experience when dealing with sometimes overwhelming mental health issues like various forms of depression, anxiety. They're looking for self-esteem restoration or behavior modification. And ChoiceOne Sexual Health Resource Centers is the best place for women to go to that are struggling with sexual health and reproductive issues like abortion recovery, infertility, pregnancy loss and bereavement, and intimacy issues.
CO2 is a place where women can find solid professional counseling. Those experiencing shame and regret will be met with the unconditional love of Christ in hopes of bringing eternal change.
CO2, we feel a great responsibility to all the women who come and share and entrust their hearts with us. Therefore, we would never want to turn any woman away from an opportunity to receive biblical counseling.
Another innovative program at ChoiceOne is its prevention educational series called Let's Talk. In order to help prevent a young woman from experiencing relationship violence, sexually transmitted diseases, or an unplanned pregnancy, ChoiceOne has developed a highly acclaimed Let's Talk About It program. Let's Talk is a series of educational, interactive discussions that engage youth to take positive action in mitigating consequences by avoidance. The program is designed to help students take a preemptive posture towards their behaviors through good decision-making skills training. Some of the Let's Talk topics include Let's Talk About Sex. Let's talk about Me Too. Let's talk about boundaries. And this year, their Let's Talk About COVID was in high demand. Their slogan for each program's creation is the more the participants engage, the more they learn. The Let's Talk program is so widely received in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, it has become an access point for young adults to engage ChoiceOne when they need answers and help in a time of crisis. Well, this is the part I knew about ChoiceOne. They were great folks to call for crisis intervention, but I really didn't know the extent of their services and the unwavering commitment to integrity of those services. Over 10 years ago, ChoiceOne partnered with St. Mary Medical Center and St. Francis, now Capital Health, in Trenton, New Jersey, along with Wrightstown Family Medicine, to offer quality, affordable health care that is not driven by profits. Wrightstown Family Medicine's Dr. Paul Caracappa and Dr. Ellen Kim oversee all medical services to ensure the integrity of medicine.
Well, I think the thing about ChoiceOne that attracted Dr. Kim and I to them was their sense of shared values that we kind of have in common. We try to treat patients not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And ChoiceOne has always had such a great emphasis on not just the physical situation, what's going on with the ladies, but their emotional health, their spiritual health, sharing the gospel, and ultimately leading them to a relationship with Christ. ChoiceOne and Wrightstown Family Medicine, we feel exactly the same way. We just focus on the patient's heart, and ChoiceOne is so good at that they see that it's the heart of the girls really where the ministering and the blessing occurs, and that's why we're excited to continue on with ChoiceOne. We hope it stays forever. I can't think of any other organization that I would rather send our patient to. We're limited by time here. We sometimes only have 15 or 20 minutes with the patient, but all the girls are just so thankful to ChoiceOne that they take hours and hours and are always available by phone, middle of the night. They have such a great network of supporters that they go above and beyond what we can provide here at Wrightstown Family Medicine.
I asked Dr. Kim this question: how does a saving faith affect a woman's physical and mental health? Here was her answer.
Saving faith in Christ it's kind of like the foundation of the rock. It offers a hope that is based on truth and that doesn't change. A lot of things that we might put our hope on, that might affect our happiness per se, can change. If you're successful at school or at work or whatnot, you could be at one moment, but then if it doesn't go well, it can bring you down. And I think once you have that, once you have that saving grace and understand that there is a hope and there is a power that is unchanging, doesn't change, it doesn't affect your ups and downs as much, and it offers a deeper joy that kind of can, even though you might be sad, there's a deeper joy that can take you kind of through that.
These are the professionally trained volunteer nurses who perform ultrasounds and STI screenings with treatment according to physician directives. ChoiceOne offers pregnancy testing. Sure, I knew that. I figured they also did STI testing for sexually transmitted infections. Yep, figured that as well. Postpartum depression screening? Nope, didn't know about that. Suicide assessment? Nope, didn't know that either. I didn't know about ChoiceOne's commitment to the Spanish community to aid in crisis pregnancy that could include various immigration entanglements. I also didn't know how much relationships and relationship violence play critical factors in a woman's decision and her deliberation whether to carry to term or not. ChoiceOne offers women a guide to the truth and a loving hand to hold. This was really evident as I spoke with the team about their ultrasound services. And the team wanted to be sure to give a special shout out and special thank you to the Knights of Columbus, who helped to provide 2 ultrasound machines, which was really special. At ChoiceOne, ultrasounds are handled in a way that I can only describe as being with the utmost respect. Now, obviously for privacy reasons, I wasn't allowed in the room, but the team was able to take some shots for me, and I was able to get a glimpse inside what really happens in this special moment. I asked Carolyn to share with me what makes the ultrasound so important, and this is what she shared with me. She says, "There is no place more special, more sanctified to express the unconditional love of God, His sovereignty over His plan, and His authority as Creator, than in the room with ChoiceOne's ultrasound machine. You see, in this room, the medical room, a room without soft chairs and soft light, a room that is instead bathed with the stark light of science and medical truth, it becomes a room where the greatest love and hope flourish. In the room, truth is seen and heard, eliminating any chance of denial. It is where assumptions are confirmed, hopes and dreams are fulfilled, and the one place where affirmation of life can cause debilitating fear, panic, and dread. At ChoiceOne, the ultrasound room, or the room of light, is the place where women face the truth of their pregnancy. The images of life inside a new mother flash on the screen, and they always take her breath away. For many, it is joyful. For others, it affirms that she is trapped. No matter what, her life is now forever changed. And each girl or woman knows that with the first sound of her baby's heartbeat, or the first image of her child's little fingers and toes within her, she is forever changed. She has seen, and what she has seen cannot be unseen or denied. What I didn't know far outweighs anything I did know. You see, I'm starting to see her. What I learned is that most women terminate their pregnancy because of lies and fear. The lies that she tells herself and the lies that society tells her. Her mind races, and she has no power to stop thinking that she has no value. She can't do it. No one will help her. She's alone. God won't forgive her. And fear pounds in her heart that he'll leave, or he won't leave. Perhaps she'll be deported. She'll be homeless. She can't provide. What will become of me? I just can't. I'm afraid. My parents, my church, my school, all of them will throw me out.
So we have a new client. She's actually a young college student. She is a Christian, and she is 4 months pregnant and having a lot of issues because her boyfriend and her family, her parents, are not thrilled that she's pregnant. And in fact, parents are letting her know that they will not support her if she keeps the baby. And so they would like her to consider adoption. So it's been really difficult, as you can imagine, for this student. And so she's meeting with one of our prenatal mentors and our counselors for some guidance and just for some support. But yeah, we should definitely be praying for her.
And just when I thought I had experienced the most impactful of stories and interviews, I met Jamie and Beth. I spoke with Jamie and her counselor at separate times for quite a while. I've included only a portion of my conversations with each of them, but it was quite amazing. The staff at ChoiceOne will be making a number of my interviews available, including this one, later on their YouTube channel. You will meet Jamie at the time she first found out she was pregnant, and then during my interview with her just a few weeks ago. The transformation from a young, shy teenager to a competent college student and mother is truly a miracle of God's grace and provision.
I kind of stopped talking to people as they realized that I was pregnant because I was afraid they would say things to me and about me. So I stopped talking to a lot of people. And over the summer I was invited to do all of these things and stuff, but I was pregnant. At 14 was really scary, and especially since I isolated myself and I needed the support. And whenever I felt that I needed to talk to somebody or I just needed to get out, ChoiceOne was there for me.
That was Jamie when she was just 14, and when she shared with ChoiceOne how she was feeling.
I was 14 when I got pregnant. I was in 9th grade when I found out I was pregnant. And I had him when I was 15, but I was terrified. I think the scariest thing was having to tell my parents. And then again, I was in high school, so being around all of the peers and the other people, maintaining a social life versus being a mom. As a mother, I feel bad when I get times to go out with my friends and stuff, even though I have my parents and they watch him. They don't complain or anything, because as I'm leaving, he will cry for me, and then I'll just feel bad leaving, and then the whole night I'll just worried that he hasn't calmed down yet.
Jamie was remarkable and said something profound that I don't want you to miss. It's worth underscoring. From the beginning, Jamie had her parents' support, which isn't always the case. From what I learned during my time with ChoiceOne is that most teenagers and young women who have the support of their families, they not just survive, but they truly thrive. This is Beth, Jamie's counselor. And as a surprise for Jamie, I asked Beth to send a short video message. Here it is.
When we first met, I had to ask a lot of questions to get you start talking. And I have seen so much growth. And a lot of that is 100% due to the fact that you started to understand how the Lord could help you. Because you were afraid to pray at first. You were afraid to pray because you thought you had to do it a certain way. And once you started doing that, I saw such a big change in you. I know the way you pushed through. You didn't just manage to get through high school. You really graduated and did well. And I just know the Lord was right there beside you. And I just want to let you know that I'm always here for you. I pray that our relationship continues for a lifetime here. And I know that God has really big things in store for you. And I pray for you all the time. And I love you. I love you big.
Talk about emotional. Beth was given the opportunity to see her, and it changed her life. After my interview with Jamie, I just couldn't believe how impactful ChoiceOne had been to her and so many of the other young women I met in my journey. This ministry has such a broad and accurate vision on how to serve with such precision. I know from my interviews that Carolyn, Alice, and Jennifer all have an educational foundation in community mental health and professional counseling. But there was something different about this ministry. It seemed intuitive, stunningly perceptive, and that's because it is personal. This is Maria Nair, affectionately called M. She is the office manager and has served with Carolyn for 21 years. And I asked her what her favorite program was.
Well, when I got pregnant at 17, as I said before, I was college bound. And in the 80s, you just didn't get to have a baby and still go to college. So I gave that up, but I always dreamt of sending a girl to college. Well, financially, that's never became feasible. But through being in the ministry of ChoiceOne and me sharing that dream with Carolyn and Carolyn sharing that with the board, and through prayer and vision, we got a whole scholarship program. If the client qualifies, she could get a full ride and graduate, which is, I've been praying for since I was 17. So this coming May, as a matter of fact, we have a client who's going to be graduating, and I am going to be front and center watching her graduate.
I couldn't believe my ears. ChoiceOne offers their clients a scholarship to Cairn University. Jamie was a scholarship recipient. What a partnership. Now, being a Cairn alumnus myself, I know how significant this really is. So I was excited when I was introduced to Aubrey, the first ChoiceOne Cairn University scholarship recipient. Here is some early footage of Aubrey before she went to Cairn.
My name is Aubrey, and I'm going to share my experience with ChoiceOne and becoming a mother. When I was 18, I met my son's father at college, and we started a very toxic relationship that lasted until I gave birth to my son. It was very hard for me to accept, but I had to for my son. I was like, this just isn't safe. We cannot continue this.
Here is Aubrey at our interview just recently.
Came here in January. It was the first time that I had felt excited because I remember getting a little baby outfit, and I was really excited about that. And then I came back after my son was born. I came back for counseling here.
I asked Aubrey what she would say to her younger self.
I would definitely say to just rely on God's faithfulness, to not be so consumed with like worry or feeling like you can't do it. I would just say rely on God's faithfulness, relax, and just like put yourself in that mindset of I'm just going to trust and rely on God.
As a surprise for Aubrey, I asked Jennifer if she wanted to say anything to Aubrey. And here is what she said.
Aubrey, when we first met, you were shy and unsure of yourself and your faith. College wasn't even a thought. Now you are confident, self-assured, brave, courageous, about to graduate from college. Remarkable, extraordinary. You are not going to let anything stand in your way, and it has been my privilege and a great blessing to see how the Lord has worked in your life and how you show Julian every day that anything is possible.
As I started to wrap up this project, I went back to my first day at ChoiceOne and all the interviews and conversations I've had over the last few months. First, I learned that I didn't really understand all the facets of this organization called ChoiceOne, and I didn't truly understand or see her. I learned that this ministry is so astute and intuitive in serving the women of our community because they have been intentional. They have leaned in to listen, learn, and then respond with precision. The team set their efforts on a firm foundation of prayer, and then cultivate an environment that is determined to love unconditionally. I misunderstood ChoiceOne's mission. I thought they just dealt with an unplanned pregnancy, but to be honest, I was short-sighted. They have one goal, and that is to follow Jesus' example at the well. They wait every day to meet a woman at the place she's at, to share truth, unconditional love, and to offer an opportunity for eternal life. And then they put their words into action with services that truly meet this underserved population of women in our community. They are an arm of the church that ministers in a way that most churches, pastors, and Christians cannot. They are our home-based missionaries that have been serving the needs of churched and unchurched women for 40 years. And remember my question for Carolyn about how ChoiceOne can remain relevant in an ever-changing culture? Here's what she told me.
Cultures change, but the love of God, the truth of the Bible, and the hope found in Jesus, well, that remains until He comes. So our mission at ChoiceOne can't be defined by a fickle culture. We must remain steadfast to an eternal purpose.
A fickle culture. And yet they remain steadfast to an eternal purpose? The unchanging gospel of Jesus Christ is paramount to this team, their purpose, and their life. They are Christians that honor life by respecting her and coming to her aid before, during, and after a pregnancy. They use their own life experiences to help her mitigate risks and to navigate a better future, leaning in to understand her relationships, her entanglements, and her tyranny of the urgent. And then they act in her defense, truly being pro-life inside and outside the womb. It was hard for me to pick and choose which interviews would be included in this project. All of the interviews have value, and they are all just so encouraging. But many of these interviews will be made available on ChoiceOne's YouTube channel, which can be accessed through the website using this link below. In so many of my interviews, like with Dr. Caracappa, many people were clear to say that ChoiceOne is worthy of your support. So, if you are so inclined, I challenge you to do just that, to support ChoiceOne. First, they need your prayer support. Please pray for the ministry of ChoiceOne and their team. Also, pray for each young mom and dad that walks through their doors. Secondly, put your words into action and volunteer at ChoiceOne. There are multiple opportunities to serve and to serve alongside this team of dedicated women at ChoiceOne. Lastly, they need your financial support. Each year it becomes more difficult to keep this essential ministry going, and there's never been a better time for you to show your support than by giving right now. There are multiple ways to give, and you can learn more about how to give by going to choiceonesupport.org. Your sacrificial giving will make a definite difference in the lives of these young moms and babies that will truly have eternal impact. As I close, I was planning on Aubrey being the last interview that I show you. But then there's Louise, another Cairn Scholarship recipient. Like so many of the girls at ChoiceOne, she has grown to become an accomplished woman with a bright future and the ability to care for her child and her family. I thought I would end by leaving you with these final thoughts and shout-outs, if you will, from the many that I spoke with and that I interviewed. I believe they speak volumes to the gospel-driven ministry of ChoiceOne. Thank you for joining me on this journey to truly see her and ChoiceOne. May God bless you. May God bless the women who need ChoiceOne and the fantastic team of dedicated missionaries who are serving at ChoiceOne. Thank you.
So ChoiceOne has really been really great, really amazing. Like, I feel like I'm forever indebted to them because it's unbelievable. the amount of support that they have given me. I was literally homeless. I remember there were times where I literally could not afford to get formula, and I would just reach out to ChoiceOne.
But I'll tell you, from the perspective of someone that is seeing what is going on and hearing the testimonies of what is going on, it is a very effective mission organization that is worthy of our support as local congregations and local churches.
I also had, conversations about really wanting to pursue a higher education, but not really knowing if I could afford it. Boom, it just they made it happen. Watching my dreams turn into reality.
Yeah, it's our mission to just lift people up.
Our volunteers are co-laborers in sharing the hope of Jesus.
I believe that it's important for every mother to have the best care, to be able to bring a healthy child into the world and to care for them well and to know how to do that. I had the good fortune of having those things, but some women don't, and I appreciate that ChoiceOne does support women with those services.
I can't think of any other organization that I would rather send our patient to.
It's a safe place where you know you can come and be yourself and not be judged.
I've never had a shift without clients, and I've seen positive cases almost like exponentially doubled.
I would definitely recommend going to ChoiceOne. ChoiceOne definitely means a lot to me.
ChoiceOne offers and has all the values, embodies all the values that I believe in.
If you could finish the sentence, Taylor, the sentence, if there wasn't ChoiceOne.
I don't know where I would be. I don't know where I would be. I have no idea.
We set time aside just for her so we can listen and understand.
Remember, she's a divine appointment.
Be a part of someone's life in such an intimate way. There's really nothing like it.
It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how dire your circumstances is, we will help you. We will get you through that. And from somebody who knows how hard it is and knows how sacrificial it is and knows how much a client will cry because what they're in. ChoiceOne's there for you, no matter what. That's the heartbeat of ChoiceOne.
Sure.
Being like Jesus.
I would say there probably can't be a better investment you can make as far as investing in the kingdom of God. Faithful, consistent, incredibly tireless workers that pour their heart, life, and soul into these girls, and they do it just out of love for them with a volunteer spirit that I've never seen anything. I've been practicing for 30 years. I've never seen anything like it.
To be known is to be loved, and to be loved is to be known. And I just met you, but I love you. I don't know you, but I want to get to. I must run back to town. This is way too much just for me. There are others, brothers, sisters, lovers, haters, the good and the bad, the sinners and the saints, who need to see what you've shown me, to hear what you've told me, who needs to taste what you gave me, and to feel how you forgave me. To be known is to be loved, and to be loved is to be known. They all need it. We all do. We need it for our own.